I don't know why they were difficult. What was difficult? There's too many things going on? Did you not watch, like, large portions of The Lord of the Rings? Sorry, too many orcs. Way too much Orokai. I can't watch it. Yep, that one battle, too many spaceships. Sorry, Star Wars. No watching you. What's up, guys? Welcome to Boss Level 8, where we make fun of movie critics. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it so you never miss a new video. We, of course, just watched the movie Ready Player One. We're gonna take a look at Britt Hayes' review from Screen Crush. And listen, Britt, alright, just because I had a crush on Lisa Loeb in the 90s and you look pretty much like Lisa Loeb, doesn't mean I'm gonna go easy on your review. But call me. As a book, Ready Player One is a craven mishmash of pop culture iconography, in which almost every sentence is punctuated with references to beloved films of the 80s and 90s. It's not so much a novel as it is zealous fan fiction, the literary version of Chris Farley on SNL interviewing famous guests. Hey, remember when you made Jurassic Park? That was awesome. That's a fair assessment, especially considering the character in the book, who made the entire contest in the first place because he made the entire world, is basically Chris Farley's character. So it's a fair assessment. It doesn't mean that that's bad, it just means that that is. With Steven Spielberg behind the camera, Ernest Cline's book had potential to transcend its source material. Are you sure you read the book? Because it went way the fuck away from the source material. So many things that happened in that movie did not happen in the book. So I don't know what you mean by transcend, like better than the book? Like, it just went away from the book. You might as well, I feel like you have to be like, it's okay if this isn't the book as long as the basic premise is there. As long as there is an OASIS and video games. I think we're good. It's disheartening that the finished product is little more than the cinematic equivalent of a pop culture mashup tee, which takes cherished icons of film and coats them in garish CGI while clumsily smashing them against one another like a child playing with action figures. Why is that disappointing? That's the book. There's parts where they list like 500 references just to list 500 references in the book so that you sit there like a kid, but also so that you can understand that the guy who made the OASIS in the first place is that guy who would list all of those things out. And it created an entire world where everyone is that guy. His decision to direct Ready Player One, a story created almost entirely from references to pop culture touchstones, was somewhat bizarre given how often his own films figure into Cline's best-selling novel. How is that bizarre? I feel like that's appropriate. Yeah, it's completely and utterly appropriate. That's not weird at all. I'm confused. I mean, it'd be weird if like Paul Thomas Anderson was like, I'm gonna direct Ready Player One. But you know what? I feel like there's too many references to Steven Spielberg. You know what? Maybe I won't do it. But if you could look past all those references, which you probably shouldn't because that's this whole fucking movie, Cline's story is about the kind of dreamer that often inspires Spielberg. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm worried as to why you said it, because every time you say something accurate, it turns bad. Like there's a reason why it's not good. Despite the efforts of our most beloved modern director, Ready Player One is a complete mess. Outside the OASIS, the action is handsomely shot, and the stacks themselves are impressively elaborate. But once we enter the OASIS, the film turns into the Sims version of Avatar. I really hope your whole review turns into references to bash a movie that's full of references. I really do. And then I'm gonna feel like no one else can make a review because you're referencing reviews and I don't know. It's gonna be some weird like Inception shit. Close-ups are fine, but action sequences, of which there are several, are difficult to watch. I don't know, Visine for dry eyes? I don't know how to help you. Were you tired? That could be a thing. I don't know. I don't know why they were difficult. What was difficult? There's too many things going on? Did you not watch like large portions of The Lord of the Rings? Sorry, too many orcs. Way too much Orokai. I can't watch it. Yep, that one battle, too many spaceships. Sorry, Star Wars. No watching you. But you probably love that stupid battle in Breaking Dawn or whatever, where there's like 12 things fighting. Like this I can watch. It's not distracting. It's not distracting. And most of the things are the same type of thing, so I don't get distracted by the different types. After a while, it's all just so much visual noise, like every fight in Michael Bay's Transformers movies. It's kind of weird because I feel like a battle should be visual noise. Like, if it was visual quietude, I'd be watching a very different thing. Like, something that's not a battle. It's really odd, because, I mean, if you have, like, Ninja Turtles and Battletoads and fucking Chucky, for Christ's sake, and robots and everything that you can think of all, like, attacking at the same time, it should be noisy and crazy and hard to watch. Like, you should have to pause it to be like, what the fuck just happened? In fact, that's more like a battle than anything else. You can't tell who's who and what's what, though Ready Player One goes out of its way to deliver many cameos and references with the same heavy hand used to execute an obnoxious needle drop. It also has plenty of those, and sometimes people talk, other times they're quiet, and I mean, Steven Spielberg has tropes, and his tropes were in there. And action movies, and adventure movies, and sci-fi movies, they all have tropes. And a big reason that they have tropes and that those things exist is because we like them. We notoriously like them. We like when the guy gets the girl, or we like when the bad guy has like poop land on him and we're like, yay, he got covered in poop. Because it's like a redemption, like release sort of thing. That's what happens. So it's not strange that these things are gonna be in there. It doesn't become obnoxious. It becomes exactly what the audience wanted from something like that. Just like a noisy ass fucking battle. The parts of Ready Player One that feel truly dystopian probably aren't the ones Spielberg and Penn intended. The real ugliness of this world is that it is a fanboy utopia where every inane piece of useless trivia has some divine purpose, and where all the times these loyal players spent indoors consuming pop culture could very well be their golden ticket to total control over the characters and fiction they love. That's the movie. That's the movie and the book. You said you read the book, that's the book. If you don't like the story and what it's doing, you don't like the story. But it presents an actual realistic possibility of what could happen in the near future, where our obsession with technology, video games, escapism, and pop culture makes it that important. And the whole point of the thing is predicated that it should be that important and we should be communicating with each other and loving each other and having friendships and stuff like that. It's like the most simple thing to understand. Ready Player One tells fanboys that the very parts of this culture that have become so toxic, gatekeeping in particular, are actually good. No! They also don't say it's bad. They say too much of a good thing can be bad, and too much of a bad thing can be bad. Like, there has to be a balance of some sort. It doesn't say that at all. How did you miss that? Fucking children watch this. How did you miss that? There's kids walking out of the theater like, I totally understood everything. And you're like, I don't know. The motives of Ready Player One are confusing at best for you. For you, like no one else. It's not confusing. It was already hard for you to watch. Maybe you just didn't watch it. Don't forget, Visine for dry eyes. Not sponsored. Not high enough to be sponsored. Fans are trying to protect their favorite franchises and brands and characters from corporate interests. You know, the same corporate interests that are responsible for bringing this film to the masses in the first place. You really read into this a lot. And it's funny because this movie and the book are actually pretty insightful and pretty deep. I just feel like you're reading into it in a very strange way, where you're not understanding that, like, yes, that's one of the points of this film. What you just said is one of the points of the story that Cline wrote. So you're saying that that's stupid or wrong or doesn't make sense or is ironic in a way, like he didn't fucking realize what he wrote. He did that on purpose. And if he didn't, then he's an accidental genius. To accidentally do something insightful like that is really weird. Spielberg certainly tries his best to give this story some heart. It's just difficult to feel that through the layers of CGI. Spielberg's own T-Rex from Jurassic Park is a generic, computerized creation stomping through the streets alongside King Kong and a DeLorean. Yeah, they're in a virtual world. What do you want it to be? It actually doesn't make any sense for it to be animatronic or a puppet or practical. It should be digital. They're in a digital world. Anything else would be strange. It's almost like a metaphor for the ways in which cinema is repurposed and digitally abused. Mostly, it's just sad. No, it's sad that you really misunderstood that they went into VR. It's VR. That's what it is. It would be very, very strange if it didn't look like the way it looked. Like, why would someone in a digital virtual reality make the dinosaur look like a practical effect that was put into a digital realm? That broke my brain thinking, like, how you would do it, but it also broke my brain thinking why anyone would do that. That doesn't make any sense. To certain viewers, Ready Player One is a terrifying story set in a world senselessly devoted to zealous fanboys, carelessly combining random bits of pop culture and shutting out anyone who's a hater or a noob. Someone in this movie actually says noob. If you don't love the right movies and games, and if you don't appreciate the right parts of them in the correct fashion, then you're a fake, unworthy fan. Yep. Which actually is kind of a testament to what we do now, except progressing toward pop culture. Pop culture becomes so important that that's how we judge each other. Like currently, we judge each other in different ways. What you drive and how you dress and how you do this and how you do that. But in the case of Cline writing a story, he was like, what if all this other stuff became important? And that's how we judged each other. Because imagination. Welcome to book learning. But if you're the sort of person who just wants to see the Iron Giant in the same movie with Gundam, the Mach 5 from Speed Racer, and the characters from Street Fighter 2, then Ready Player One might be for you. You're getting it. The mere fact that this has a message and that it's in any way insightful is awesome. But to be perfectly honest, if I see Battletoads running next to fucking Ninja Turtles, I'm in. And that's why the movie's for me. I'm not saying this movie's good or for everyone. I'm saying it's for me. I had fun. Not for you, Lisa Loeb. Not for you. But call me. You say, hear what I want. Well, I'm curious what you guys think of this review of Ready Player One. Also, I'm curious what you guys thought of the movie. I had a blast. I read the book. It's so different from the book, but I had a great time watching it. And I actually think Cline had a great time writing it for a movie. So much so that he made it so different from the book, he was just like, I'm having a good time. Like, that's my theory on the whole thing. But love to hear what you have to say. Put it down in the comments. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button and that bell right next to it so you don't miss any of our videos. And until we see you next time, geek out and game on.